The WWE Hall of Fame is just around the corner. We are a couple of weeks away, and as of this video, so far, three names have been announced to be inducted into the class of 2025. That being Michelle McCool, Lex Luger, and Triple H. However, there are still a lot of names that have not been inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. So in today's video, I'm going to share with you the names of people that I think should be going into the Hall of Fame, hopefully within the next few years. Of course, there are going to be more names that I don't mention, and only because, let's be real, there's still plenty of time for some other really big, obvious names to go into the WWE Hall of Fame. But let's go ahead and kick off this list. And this is in no particular order, but I'm going to kick things off with Chyna. Some of you are probably going, ooh, Denise started right there in this video. Yes, I did. So Chyna's a little bit of a controversial one because of her past with Triple H, having been with him, and you know how that whole story went. And then on top of that, she did have a controversial last couple of years, unfortunately, that led to her passing. However, I feel like sometimes when people talk about Chyna, a lot of times, people talk about how the last couple of years of her life were. But the reason I believe Chyna should be in the Hall of Fame is because she did such incredible work in WWE. I would not be here right now. I would not have a 200,000 plus YouTube wrestling channel if it wasn't for performers like Chyna. Chyna was one of the first women. In fact, she was the first woman that I ever saw and became like a massive fan of. Little me was a big time Chyna fan. I saw her and I just thought she was one of the coolest women that I had ever seen. I had never seen someone go out there and just have this very, very cool presence, this aura that you can't, not anybody can just have that kind of an aura. She was just so cool, right? She would go out there and she would wrestle the men. There was no holding her back. Like she really did break a lot of gender barriers. And so when I think back to my time as an early WWE fan, I think of being a big fan of Chyna, and I'm pretty positive that I'm not the only one. I'm pretty sure there are lots of women that are wrestlers right now that were inspired by women like Chyna, and fans, female fans that were also, growing up and watching Chyna and became wrestling fans because they saw somebody that they could sort of connect with and want to really, really root for. I rooted for Chyna because I saw a badass woman. I mentioned earlier in this video that she broke many gender barriers. She was one of the first women to qualify for the King of the Ring tournament and the Royal Rumble. She appeared in both the 1999 and 2000 Royal Rumble. She was also the first woman to hold the Intercontinental Championship, which she did 2 times. And of course, she was a WWF Women's Champion. Also, I should have probably mentioned this earlier. So she is part of a group induction into the Hall of Fame. So she was inducted along with DX when they went in 2019. However, this I'm specifically stating she should be in there as a standalone performer as Chyna. She should be up there and honored for the work that she did as a solo performer. Next up, this is another one that I do hope happens down the line. I don't know or think that it will happen in the near future, only because this person is currently working for the competitor in AEW. But I cannot not mention Goldust, Dustin Rhodes. I think that Goldust is one of the most interesting characters that we have seen in pro wrestling. And the reason for that is that Goldust, it was a very strange, weird character and it crossed, maybe some lines and made people feel uncomfortable, right? And if you would have given this character or this gimmick to literally anybody else, it probably would have failed. But Goldust, Dustin made it into something special. He made it into something that you can be proud of. I feel like if I were to have done the role of Goldust, I would look back at it and be proud because it was so unique, so different, and got each and every single person watching this video that knows about Goldust feeling some sort of feeling, right? You're like, what is this? How do I feel about this? But he was just such a great performer. And that's just that portion of it all. The other really cool thing is that he has been actively wrestling and on TV. And to see the longevity of his career across multiple promotions, I feel like that is something that at the end of it, when he finally decides to lace up the boots and call it a day, he is going to have an impeccable career to look back at and be proud of. I cannot wait for the day that Dustin Rhodes gets inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. Next one, Sid Vicious, Psycho Sid. At the time, he was one of the few wrestlers to both be WWE and WCW champion. He also headlined WrestleMania with Hulk Hogan and The Undertaker and headlined Starrcade 2000. He unfortunately passed in 2024, which is sad because it would have been nice to have seen him get inducted when he was alive. He was a two-time WCW World Heavyweight Champion, WCW United States Heavyweight Champion, two-time WWF Champion. So he's definitely someone that I think should be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. Next up on this list, I have to include Demolition, Axe and Smash. Before the New Day and the Usos, they were the longest reigning WWE Tag Team Champions, the dominant team in the Federation era when you had teams like the Hart Foundation and the British Bulldogs, definitely making them stand out. Next up, we have Miss Elizabeth. Now, this one's also a little controversial because some people have been wondering exactly why she isn't in the WWE Hall of Fame just yet. Some people have speculated that it may be her family that might not want her in the Hall of Fame because they might still blame the pro wrestling business for the way that she passed. While others are also maybe thinking that it's on the WWE side. So hopefully down the line in the future, we can also see Miss Elizabeth make it there because she is the first lady of WWE. And you don't think about Macho Man without thinking about Miss Elizabeth. Next up on the list of who I believe should be inducted is Bam Bam Bigelow. I was actually surprised when I saw that he wasn't already inducted. I made sure to go back and double check because, sometimes you just lose track of who's already in and who's not. And for whatever reason, I thought he was in, but he's not. Some notable accomplishments of Bam Bam Bigelow include headlining WrestleMania 11 with NFL Hall of Famer Lawrence Taylor. Before Bad Bunny, Lawrence Taylor had the best celebrity match in WWE history because of Bam Bam Bigelow. In terms of his work in WWE, he was a solid mid-carder, but he's known worldwide, especially in Japan, as an all-time big guy wrestler. And this next person, I am a huge fan of their in-ring work. And every time I see this person, like their old videos of them wrestling, I'm just like, damn, he was so freaking cool in the ring. And that is Sabu. The reason I say that Sabu should be in the WWE Hall of Fame is because he is one of the most influential wrestlers, not named Rey Mysterio, of this generation. There is no RVD without Sabu, no tables, no barbed wire. Sabu never spoke, but his hardcore, high-flying style really made him a guy that people loved to watch. The homicidal, suicidal, genocidal, death-defying man known all over the world as Sabu absolutely needs to be in the Hall of Fame. And moving on, another wrestler that I just absolutely admire and also just love his work and his mind in pro wrestling, and that is Raven. Raven was the 90s mainstream era, the grunge look, the melodramatic person that was everyone in the 90s. One of the best promos ever. Raven got over in every single company that he has ever worked for: WWE, WCW, ECW, TNA Wrestling, you name it, Raven has had a hell of a career. In WWE, Raven is a 26-time hardcore champion. In WCW, he was a former light heavyweight champion, United States heavyweight champion, world tag team champion, and of course, ECW. He was a 4-time ECW World Tag Team Champion and a 2-time ECW World Heavyweight Champion. Also held the NWA World Heavyweight Championship in TNA. It should also be noted that he is in the TNA Hall of Fame. And of course, if you mention Raven, you gotta mention the heart and soul of ECW and the man who had one of the most iconic feuds with Raven, and that is Tommy Dreamer. Tommy, when it came to ECW, was involved in all the major programs, moments, and was truly an integral part of ECW, both in the ring and behind the scenes. Another person that I think should be inducted into the Hall of Fame is Brian Pillman. He should be in based on his work in ring and then, of course, the loose cannon character, which was WWE's first introduction away from the cartoonish gimmicks that they did in the mid 90s. And in the celebrity wing, I would love to see Cyndi Lauper get inducted. Now, I know that she's had her apprehensions about wanting to get inducted into the Hall of Fame. However, now that Triple H is in charge, running creative, I'm hoping maybe that they can mend the relationship with Cyndi Lauper now that Vince McMahon is out. Of course, you all know that Cyndi Lauper played such a huge role in WrestleMania. Her being a wrestling fan and taking part in WrestleMania really helped boost the popularity of pro wrestling. And so Cyndi Lauper does deserve her flowers for that because she really, really gave WrestleMania the rub. So shout out to Cyndi Lauper, who I also love as a musician, but that's another topic for another time. So I do want to go ahead and mention Batista. Now, I'm not like in any rush to get Batista into the Hall of Fame. Of course, there are so many people that I didn't mention in this video that are future Hall of Famers, the Hardy Boys, Mickey James. I mean, there are so many, but they've got time to get those people in. I also think that they've got time to get Batista in, but Batista is such a big, massive name, not just in pro wrestling, but also because of his work in Hollywood. But the reason I am going to bring up Batista is because we do know that in 2020, he was supposed to be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame, but then the pandemic hit in 2020, and so that was unable to happen. And so far, they haven't seemed like they've rescheduled or put out a new date for when Batista is going to be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. And so, as of right now, I'm not really sure when that induction is happening, but we do know that it was supposed to happen in 2020. That's a wrap for this video. Before you go, do not forget to let me know in the comments section who you would really like to see inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. Maybe someone on this list or someone that wasn't mentioned in this video. Of course, keep in mind, I didn't mention a lot of people, like I said, that are still young. They still got time to eventually make it into the Hall of Fame. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. And if you did enjoy this video, I suggest you check out this video too, because I think you should check it out and YouTube thinks you should check it out. And also, if you enjoyed this video or any of my others, make sure to click that subscribe button. Thank you guys so much, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.